send you the address again, I will. Okay. Good evening. My name is Lyra, and I'm the host of the Parent Advocate Network. Tonight is December 15th, 2018. We have now rescheduled our meetings to be at 5 p.m. Pacific time instead of the 7 p.m. This is to allow for people on the East Coast to join in these meetings. At the beginning of every meeting, we start off with a meditation-focused prayer. This is to help us focus our energies on the important things here, which is families and caring and being able to support each other in these hard times. And no judgments. We don't have judgments here. That we want to share and assist, that's all. So this is the Law of One. And if you would like to join me in reading this out loud, this is brought to you by Earth Soul Ministries, and we stand for peace, justice, and prosperity for all. We are here to help. The Law of One. We are all one. And when one is harmed, all are harmed. And when one is helped, all are helped. And when one is healed, all are healed. Therefore, in the name of who I am, all are healed.
Therefore, in the name of who I am,
and I am one with all that is, I ask that only that which is in the highest good of all concerned happen. And I give thanks that this is done. Okay.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Which okay, I got it. I see it now. And I give thanks that this is done. Okay.
Yes, so be it, and so it is. Amen.
So be it, and so it is. Yep. Amen.
And this is our focus because we believe in ethical conduct in all dealings with not only CPS, social workers, and family court, despite their unethical behavior. We are rising above that and being showing them how it is that we should be behaving as people in this country and in the world, instead of backstabbing and destroying families. So this is what we want to do, is offer our support and our services to all parents and families that are going through the crisis of separation, whether it be through divorce, social economic stressors, and or CPS, DCFS, whatever they want to call themselves at any given time. Excuse me. And so this is a very safe place here at the Parent Advocate Network, and we invite you to ask whatever questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question. At least that's my policy. That's what I believe. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and we all need support and help here, and that's what we're here for. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our new members, Lynette and Jennifer. I'm going to unmute you, Jennifer and Lynette. And if you Jennifer, if you would like to just offer a short introduction.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Guskin. I'm a human trafficking survivor. I was trafficked through CPS. And when I started to go public about what happened to me, CPS took my infant daughter, trying to get me to stop talking. Ultimately, because of my background as a journalist, they only made me louder. And right now I have a case in the Court of Federal Claims seeking an investigation into CPS's ties into human trafficking.
Yes, this is a very serious issue that a lot for us are discovering is happening with our children. It's the human trafficking and the sex trafficking. So thank you very much, Jennifer, for joining us tonight. Lynette, I'm going to unmute you now if you would like to
Inviting.
introduce. Excellent.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
This
Hi.
is awesome. Thank you so much. This is so exciting. It's need an outreach like this. I love this. It's great support. Um, my
Thank
name's
you.
Lynette Beavers. I have been fighting CPS for 19 months. We have 3 girls that are 15, 14, and 5, and I'm a teacher. And so this has affected my career. I can't work right now while all this is going. And I mean, my passion is to work with children. I work with autistic children and I have a master's degree in education. So, I mean, they basically just cut me off at the knees, you know, like everybody else's story, that that's what they do and want to bankrupt you, to where you have to pawn everything to get a lawyer to fight them and get your kids back. And they just recently filed for a TPR on us, but thank the Lord, praise Jesus, we got a lawyer. God is so good. And that's me, and I'm from Georgia.
Thank you, Lynette. I really hope that that lawyer is going to be a good advocate for you. There are lawyers out there that do good service here in helping parents get their families returned to them. So let's hope that that is the type of lawyer that you have. In most cases, we find that
Yes.
parents have lawyers that don't do any good at all, don't have their best interests or the best interests of the child.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of them, and they're part of the bar group.
Yeah.
And my husband's actually a Marine Corps, he's a Marine Corps veteran. And so when I found this lawyer is actually a Marine Corps veteran. So he was excited about that. We think we think God sent him to us. So we're praying.
Well, I'm rooting for you.
But we'll definitely
Also.
fire him in the hearing if we see him going the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I have in my own
Yeah,
case,
that's awesome.
it has been 7 years since my children were removed, and in Kelly's case, it has been over 5 years. Um, and we're, both of us are looking at going to the federal court level at this point in time. And there's some advocates out there. I want to give a shout out to Fernando Morales. He has been doing great work helping people understand their
Yeah, he's
rights at
awesome.
the federal court level. I want to also send a shout out to Ash Harun. He has been doing great work, and I'm working with him. We're going to be putting together a tutorial on how to file a CHACO. I am learning about it right now. It's going to be very helpful, I believe, in our fight against the corrupt, the injustice system here. So.
Yes, I've spoken to Ashraf. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, he is. Definitely. So this is great news, and we got to just keep going
Yep.
forward.
And David Jose is doing great
David
work.
Jose, there we go. We want to acknowledge that. And Connie Reguli out
Yeah.
there, she's doing great work.
And
But there are
David
some,
Straight.
yeah, and there's some advocates, unfortunately, right now, they're going through a really, really hard time. And so I wanted to put a special emphasis on a few advocates that I know personally, Veronica Ferguson and Jerry Prince. They have both become
Yeah, I know
homeless.
her.
And so, yeah, they are both out on the street. It's the middle of winter.
That's what they do to people.
They bankrupt us and they cause us to become homeless, and then what are we left to do? Well, so here at the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families, I have put together a fundraiser that I would like to share tonight. This fundraiser is to help these advocates do their job, and also to provide needed information and in advertising and promotion of information that is the truth about the corruption in the family court system and CPS and the judicial system in its entirety. And this, of course, costs money. But, you know, what we want to do is we want to support the advocates,
Yes,
and we
it
want to
does.
support our advocates and the information, and getting that information out to as many people as we possibly can in as fast as amount of time as possible. And so that fundraiser has both Veronica's
Oh, absolutely. Well,
name and my name on it, so that you know that this is a joint effort. And I've already told her that she can have the $10 that we've raised so far. She needs to get back onto Social Security, and she's having a hard time getting to her Social Security appointments. So I hope you guys will consider helping her out. You know, we got that fundraiser there on Facebook, and if you do not feel comfortable paying on Facebook, donating on Facebook, you can donate through our website. We have a PayPal page. And hold on, I gotta make it smaller. So yeah, just to get these things on everybody's radar here. So this is our website. It's www.coalitionforprotection.com. And we have a secure payment method through PayPal for anybody who wishes to make donations. That is not the only way that people can make donations. You know, time is also very valuable, and we need more people coming and spending time getting and helping parents with their paperwork, filing claims, filing affidavits. And Lynette, you have raised your hand. Yes.
yes. Hold on. Yeah, that's great about the fundraiser. I think that's wonderful to get that out there. I can share that in my groups that I've got, because I've got about 2,000 people in them. So, you know, we could get that out there. I'll tell them it's kind of, you know, 911, that we've got to get, you know, some supports out there, that a lot of people have, you know, homeless or need help and need something. And if anybody is able to even, you know, donate, that, you know, they can do that. But I just wanted to share that I'll be more than happy to share that.
That is so wonderful. Thank you, Lynette. More people just sharing, and, you know, we're trying to provide a service that I know that there's been a lot of infighting in groups, and this is what we've been talking about on a couple of occasions here at the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families. And I have shared and will share with all of you our ethical conduct policies and procedures. But you, Jennifer, wanted to talk about this, and so you have the floor.
Well, it's not necessarily something that I want to talk about. It's not necessarily something I want to see or even, you know,
Right.
acknowledge happens. But, you know, in general, overall, like a lot of infighting that it just needs to stop. You know, I went to one parent advocate meeting, and overall it was great. But, you know, there's one point where somebody felt the need to, like, you know, at the end of the day, we all agree that this kind of stuff needs to stop. It doesn't matter who says what, you know, what matters is who does what and what they're willing to do, and, you know, to what extent they're willing to go out there. And just this infighting, you know, it's happening in the truther community as well. You know, it needs to stop. And
Yeah.
this is part of why I stay to myself, because I get so tired of the incessant bickering. And I don't want to take this meeting and turn it into that. It's just, that's the only thing I really had to say on the subject, is that the infighting needs to stop.
Thank you, Jennifer, and we definitely agree with that. And here comes another one of our members, Nathan. Good evening, Nathan. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that your headache is eased some and you feel better. I will unmute you. So Jennifer is just again reiterating our need. We're talking about the infighting and how we were praying that it's going to stop. And, I think that it's just about us being more guarded, and it's unfortunate, but necessary, I believe, because people make judgments based on just a statement that they don't understand, or that they think they interpret one way and it may not be that way. Then infighting happens as a result. And then there are other issues as far as like plagiarism. Some advocates or pretend advocates who have taken other people's work, and whether it be filing a certain document for judicial, I'm sorry, I just lost the word.
I don't think you want my input on it. I'm harsh.
Yeah, right. But
Who's that?
This is Nate.
Oh,
Hey,
I
this
guess
is
I'm
Nate.
muted.
Hey, Lynette.
Oh, hey.
It ain't gonna stop.
No, I know it
You gotta
isn't.
cope with it.
We got to cope with it. We got to just, like I was saying,
Yeah.
be more guarded in who we hang around with. And if we see like those red flags, do what we need to do to protect ourselves in those situations. Yes, Kelly.
I would like to the last time the last visit that we had, I was by myself, but I would like to explain my story more clearly. There were some things that were a little bit confused to me. And okay, first of all, my son is 5 years old.
Kelly, what was confusing to you?
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see what she's gonna say.
All right.
Oh, Kelly's getting assertive, my girl.
Yeah.
No,
Good job, girl. All right, speak your mind. Do it with confidence.
First of all, my son's 5 years old. I have been trying to get my son from CPS since he was 2 months old. He was having trouble gaining weight. He was having he was I can't even get my words out. Shoot. No. He was having failure to thrive. And I went to the hospital, actually to his doctor's appointments almost every single day with him. And my mom was with me too. We were trying to figure out what was wrong with him. The doctor said he was failure to thrive, but he was well nourished. Well hydrated. Both of them. The doctor told me to take him to Children's Mercy South. So I did. Actually, I was threatened from his or one of the nurses at his doctor's appointment and they said if you don't take him to the doctor or the hospital right away, we will call the police on you. So I told him, I said, look, right now, I said, I'm going home to get him some clothes and get me some clothes because I'll be staying with him at the hospital. So I told him that we were going home, and after that, going to the hospital too, after that. So I said, Google it. Please don't call the hotline on me because I am trying to get there as ASAP. So I said, let me get our stuff and we will be heading over there. So we did. After that, we went to the hospital. They were waiting for us at the hospital. So we showed up. There was like a room ready for him, everything, and we walked into the room. I think the doctor and the nurses were actually the nurses were there, getting him, checking on him and all that. I just went blank.
That's okay. Take a breath.
My mind just went blank. Yeah, after the hospital, what?
Okay, when we got to the hospital, basically what happened is we unknowingly we had gone originally to the hospital in August, and at that time they checked Michael over, and they couldn't find anything, they said, except his nipple needed to be changed. He wasn't latching on. That's one of the things they said, but that's the only thing that they corrected. But in the meantime, it was found out that Children's Mercy Hospital, for whatever reason, I don't know, one of the caseworkers there, or social workers, called DFS at that time over in Missouri and asked them and said they were concerned about Kelly being able to take care of Michael. We knew nothing about this happening. And from that time on, which was August the 20th, DFS and Children's Mercy Hospital were working together to try to get Kelly in a situation where they could take Michael. She was threatened at least 3 different times to be hotlined. One of the times was by a social worker who said that if she didn't have the Children's Mercy Hospital home service come out, that they would hotline her. The other thing is that one of the nurses said that told her that if she couldn't prove that she could take care of Michael, they would have to hotline her. This is all in the time that everything was working against her, that their whole attitude was to try to prove that she wasn't capable of taking care of Michael. She was forced to be in a program in which for 72 hours she was the only one that was supposed to be taking care of Michael. The nurses weren't going to help. She had to do everything, and this is still when the baby's only 2 months old, and she's a brand new mother, and she's still not getting caught up on her sleep. But yet they had her changing her diapers, feeding Michael, making sure that she did the feeding the formula right, to the point where if she got a little bit on the counter when she was doing it, that was held against her. She was supposed to be able to change the diapers, and again, there was nothing that ever, and there was no positive attitude in the whole thing. Everything was what she did wrong. She was to give him the medicine. She was to nurse him on schedule. Then if she didn't hold the baby right, they held that against her. And this is all, again, under the idea that she's a new mother and she needs to learn from somebody, but that wasn't their intent. Their program is to help people, in quotes, learn how to be a parent by making them do everything by themselves. Now, if you call that right, I guess that's something that you'll have to decide, because Children's Mercy Hospital basically is the cause of Michael being in DFS custody. And my nephew was going to include them, but the judge wouldn't let him. He filed a, my nephew was our lawyer at the time, and he filed a motion that DFS be included, not Children's Mercy Hospital be included in the lawsuit, but the judge overruled it, and or the commissioner, excuse me. And so, but if you go back and look over the case, this is what it's all about. There was something going on that I don't know who started it for sure, but I know there was a collusion between DFS and Children's Mercy Hospital to take Michael, and I truly believe that the foster parent involved was in on the plan, because every time, I mean, he was taken in October 2013, early in 2014, she was already saying that she was going to adopt Michael. And whenever she went to the doctor, the pediatrician, she was always telling them that Kelly had mental issues, and that she was not able to take care of Michael, which is a big lie, but that's what DFS fed her, and that's what she fed to the doctors. So as far as Kelly being at fault, Kelly tried to do her best. She went to the doctors, she went to the pediatrician, she did everything she knew how to do, but she was punished for that by being expected to be a perfect mother with years of experience. And that's basically, among many other things that happened, that's basically how it all started.
Well, that was a very hard thing for you to relay tonight, and thank you, Marge, for helping Kelly with that, because I know how difficult it is for any parent who's going through these persecutorial situations, because that's what it is. They persecuted you for being different and not knowing how to do everything just right, like a robot. I mean, that's scary.
One of the things that one of the social workers said, and this was their decision, that several of the comments were, "Oh well, Kelly has only the mind of a 10 to 12-year-old. She stutters," which she does not stutter. She has
It's aphasia. I have aphasia.
She has aphasia, which causes her to have communication problems.
And sometimes when I try to talk, sometimes I have trouble getting my words out. And I know what I want to say, but my mind doesn't want to. My mind and my speech don't want to go together sometimes.
You know, the funny thing is,
I have to stop and think, and then
Well, the other thing is
let me say something.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I want to explain to it. Okay, the way I talk and the way I think, okay, just like right now, why can I not get my words out? Shoot. The way my speech and my brain works is they don't always work together. Sometimes I have to stop and think what I want to say, and sometimes I forget. Sometimes it comes back to my mind. So I have to kind of stop and think, and then say my words. Well, that does help me to talk. So.
Kelly?
What?
Hey, you are in a very different spot right now than you were last we met. Can you tell me what's different? What's been different in your routine or the way you think? Because I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Well, today is a good day for me. It was a good day for me. I don't know. Today I just woke up.
Oh, that's not good enough. No, no. You got to have proof. If you don't have proof, it didn't count.
Yeah. Whatever.
Talk to the hand here.
I had a good day.
Good.
I woke up. I got some sleep. I woke up. I'm saying, "Thank you, God." Like I said, "Good morning, God."
That's right.
Thank you for this beautiful. I did. We had a beautiful day outside. The sun was shining. It was like 55 degrees outside. No snow. Thank you, Lord. So it's a perfect day for just a perfect day. That's what I like. And
What made you different from the way you're talking about, more assured of yourself?
I'm more positive. I'm more
What direction is that positivity coming from? Is it coming from outside, like your environment, or is it coming from inside you and your mind choosing to make it happen?
for me. It came from me and my heart.
That's the
Outstanding.
strongest.
Yeah.
That's the
That
strongest.
makes me really happy.
Yes.
Right now I'm like dressed up because I just put my hair up and I don't know why. I like my hair. Not my hair, but I just like being dressed up more, and it makes me more confident. And so have more confidence, be more great. Have a good positive attitude.
Yes, Marge. I
And that's
see
what
you
I like
over
about
there. You
that.
have a haircut. Nice haircut there.
Hey, guess who cut it too?
You
I
did.
did. I cut her hair tonight too. I did it before the meeting too.
I just wanted to say something that, okay, part of this is a very complicated case. It's very, I guess you have, okay, she was in foster care as a child, and I adopted her to foster care, but she wasn't aware of some of the things that happen in DFS custody. And one of the things that she didn't understand was she didn't understand the part that Children's Mercy Hospital played in this, and the fact that I really believe it was a setup. And so we worked together on trying to get her on making her understand what really happened and who the actual player is that's started all this. And really, well, DFS is certainly at fault, but it wouldn't have happened if it hadn't have been to Children's Mercy Hospital. And I think she understands that more clearly than she did before, so she's more confident in what she knows about the case and what to look for and what to try to change. I mean, that's just my estimate of the situation.
That sounds great. And I'm glad to see you're doing better, Kelly. And I wanted to now take this opportunity to introduce another member who has joined us tonight, Danny. And I would like to unmute, and I believe you had something you would like to share tonight. Hello, Danny. Welcome to Parent Advocate Network.
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I'm on my phone and I got a headset on. Oh, yeah. So is this the PACC?
No, but we are associated with the PACC. This is actually the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families, the Parent Advocate Network, and we have this meeting every Saturday evening. We have changed the time. It used to be at 7 p.m. Pacific time, but now we are meeting at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which seems to be a better time for everyone to join in.
Awesome. Will this be, I understand it's being recorded. Are you guys sharing your stuff? Are you getting viewership by volume that you can see, or sharing it through Facebook or anything?
Yes. I share it through, I share it and ask others to share it through Facebook. It's published every time on our YouTube channel at the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families. And I also publish it to our website, which is www.coalition4, that's the number 4, protection.com. And so we have a parent advocate network page that we provide this with parent advocacy groups listings, and also our meetings. They are published on the site. So if you want.
Awesome. Yeah, good to hear. Yeah. Never, I don't know how I was invited in here. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Glad to use this system of communication. It's very powerful. It's not being used enough. But yes, so I'm the founder of Foster. We create a lot of the content to showcase the crimes against the children, the atrocities, the war crimes, and just really putting it out there, taking pictures and doing the artwork and really just hammering down as to how bad it really is. And I have a belief that if that can't turn people away from being a foster parent, turn people away from being a social worker, turn people away from having their hands in this type of environment, nothing will, and nothing can change it. I don't believe, I just seen so many things happening, and I don't have a lot of faith in legislation and bills and anything to do with engaging these people on their turf. Everything gets kicked down. Everybody gets battered. And I don't have a lot of hope in that type of approach, but I like anyone who's battling, shooting in the right direction, keep firing in the right direction. But no politician will address these issues. No, none of them. And if they do, it's smoke and mirrors. They know they cannot touch it. It's taboo. They will lose their job. Happened to Nancy. So there's just nobody in legislation and that's really going to make a change, I don't feel. So my approach is showcasing, exposing everyone involved, the perpetrators, showcasing the victims, never letting the crimes against them rest. So CPS News Network, it's been out a few months. It's been doing well. What's happening now is I'm at a point where I'm controlling the narrative. I'm not letting everybody throw everything in, like on the Dr. Phil Exposed CPS group. I started that, but there's a lot of confusion. But when you have a targeted narrative approach, you could really hammer and drive much harder, focused, hitting where you want to hit, and we're hitting on everybody's. So that's what's happened since I've created the CPS News Network, controlling all the posts, doing all the posts basically myself. I get a lot of attention that I've never had before.
Awesome.
So it's exciting to see. I think we're averaging about close to 200,000 video views a month. And I'm just taking old content from YouTube and posting it in there and labeling it, branding it, and then sharing it on my network. And I feel the difference. There's just people that we never met are engaging, and it's really touching on a lot of people that we've never met, never knew, and the shares, the volume of shares. So this is done through a Facebook page, not a group, it's a page. So you get a lot of insight data on what's being viewed and your volume and everything that you may not get in a group. So yeah,
well, we should connect.
I like this platform. Oh, of course. Yes. Yeah, I'm easy to find. Yeah. So with the foster war, no criminal charges, no child stealing. That's all we ask. It's really basic. All child abuse cases in criminal. And that would, there goes 90% of their market. And yeah, just criminal. Make it all criminal where it's supposed to be, and get rid of the civil baloney. And they just, we know that these people aren't committing crimes and their children are being stolen and trafficked for money, for exploitation and every other nasty thing involved. So we have just a massive pattern, plethora of memes. A lot of my work is memes, pictures, and ultimately, there's so much more we could be doing to really pinpoint how vast this problem is, how huge it is, how many rapes, missing children, foster care, real statistical data that we're not going to get from the government, to where we want to try to do that. That's our ultimate goal. So we have publiclocator.com to profile your predator, profile the people involved in your case, people that are lying, committing perjury, the people that are stealing your kids, no matter how hard you work or if you didn't commit a crime, how matter the lawyers that are involved. So being a victim myself, one of the most corrupt cases anyone's ever seen that I know of just corruption, lies, kidnapping, fabrication, throw you in jail, take the kids, break into your house, make up a misdemeanor complaint. And just the collusion across the board with district attorneys pulling just shyster stuff. Anything goes. Anything goes in these situations, in these environments when they're snatching kids. They don't care, and they can get away with it. So that's why I don't have a lot of faith in the judicial system at all, because they all know what's going on. They all know that they're all ex-attorneys. A lot of them are ex-district attorneys. They didn't get those district attorney jobs by not being part of the program, and then they're judges, and then so excited about the time of year, the time of social media interaction, the engagement. I've been on this pulse of the web for since about '99, but with this, there wasn't this what we have now 5 years ago when this happened to me in 12. It started in 12, and there was another case in 14. Total of like 5 kids taken from me, and they're all family members, great nieces and nephews. They're all taken from me over the course of 2 and 3 years. But I lost my train of thought. I had a lot of coffee, just drank a big gulp of coffee. But yeah, working very hard all the time. Just wanted, that's what I was talking about was the state of the web, state of social media, state of people's interaction and engagement. It's never been more prevalent, where it's different now, and we have just with what's out there now, the content, the pictures, the victims, the crimes, the evidence, it's everywhere, and it's not like we've never seen before. It's being recorded, it's being documented what these people are doing, and it's fascinating when you think about it, because there's crimes and evidence of crimes everywhere, and nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody in power, nobody, no politician, no law enforcement officer. They may say something, but it's a runaway train. But people's engagement with social media, they're more apt to put in their opinion today. They're more apt to engage, put a reaction. So that's where the power is to get the hearts and minds. We're asking for all foster parents to cease and desist foster parenting unless the parents have been charged with a crime. It's very easy. You go to the local sheriff website. You can look. If the parents have not been charged with a crime, you do not take those children. Or certain circumstances, of course, but that's the core of it. And that they're all guilty by association. No matter how happy and gleeful you are, you're contributing. You're the revolving door. Even if you just open your door for one child, and that child moves on and you think you did a great job, no, you're facilitating. Everyone involved is guilty by association, and everybody's silence condones what's happening, from the cops to the attorneys, social workers. The powers that be that created this for a reason. It's made this way. It's not a broken system. It was designed to be broken. the volumes of amounts of money that are generated in the bar association, the lawyers, the judges, the prisons, the pharmaceuticals, the healthcare industry. It's beyond anyone's comprehension. This is a systematic, full court press war on children and families. It's sanctioned by a slush fund. It's not even tax money. They're not. This isn't a social security fund. This is an unlimited printing press to oppress, to traffic, to basically to complete destabilization of our culture and our society, what it does, and the problems that it causes, and the brain trauma to the children the second they are removed from a parent, from birth to any time a child is taken from a parent, even if they're a little abusive, it's traumatizing. The brain damage. These are psychological warfare operations being conducted by the deep state, organized and systematic war trauma, psychological war-based trauma on children and parents.
And parents and the
and
families.
we just all need to understand. Of course, extended family. We just all need to understand that this stuff is brain damaging, and then the way they give drugs to the children down to age 4. It's all to curl the brain, to dumb them down, addict them to the system. So it's just very deviant. It's the most comprehensive, deviant war on children and families ever devised. It's the deviancy from the pharmaceuticals to the healthcare industry to the insurance companies, the stock market. These kids they're on the stock market with these private foster agencies, and the way it's all designed, how they just defer blame. Big case breaking out of Florida right now was the 24-year dismemberment murder, 16-year-old boy thrown in a dumpster. Freddie, I can't think of his last name. I'm talking about a lot of things here, but his name's Freddie. He's 16 years old.
Wow, yeah.
He comes up missing. A couple days later, they find a body in a dumpster, all dismembered, all parts gone, arms, legs, head, a bag, and they don't connect the dots. And they do the DNA or whatever, do the autopsy. The kid was between 16 and 19, but these are simple ABC connected dots. So we don't know how they couldn't connect those dots. It's like within 20 miles of where the boy was missing. Basically, another thing is these foster kids are going missing, and they're not on a missing exploited database. None of them that I can find.
Right.
Example, like I've searched. It's incredible. I've searched for there's missingkidsla.org, 800 missing. I couldn't find any of them on that database. So the databases are all fake. They're crony. They're made to not find people. They do to give the appearance, but they don't give last known whereabouts, relatives, where they might have been, or any kind of leads of any kind. So all the information that they're logging in on both databases, NCIC and these county-run databases, are very weak, and it's just to give the appearance. And they don't. LA County could be collecting between $100 and $200 million on missing kids that they don't have, that they're responsible for. They need to know where they are. They need to have a task force for these children. And so the money laundering, the black market, where are these kids? And just a huge volume of neglect on their part. There should be on every police car in the county of Los Angeles a missingkidsla.org web page, just like a 911. We don't need a 911. We already have a crisis. We already have an emergency.
Yeah. This is another one of those
they shut down every county
that we need to be coming up with.
They shut down the entire ideas.
Yeah, well, so what I wanted to, I'm sorry to cut you short here, Danny, but I don't know if you know this. My other
we're fine. Go ahead. We covered that.
My other role here is I am the secretary of the Family Rights Party, and I know that, you know, the legislation and all of the politicians that are currently in office are not doing their job, and this is why I help to begin a new political party, the Family Rights Party, with specifically focusing on family rights as fundamental rights, and what that means and how we can support that by finding candidates that actually are who they say they are and are not going to just be doing underhanded deals once they get into office. And there are people out there who want to be in office, but due to the fact that they are new on the scene and do not have the political pull of all these other candidates and politicians that are already in office, that's the Family Rights Party has been developed to start providing that kind of a support system to these new incumbent and frontrunners for family rights. So that is one thing that I have put in work into, a lot of work into. And I really appreciate all that you have done, Danny. And Nathan here would like us to talk about what our goals are here, you know, to provide not only just...
I'm sorry, your goal?
Yeah, the goals of what the family rights movement, you know, what we're going towards, not just for an individual return of a family member, but like nationwide reforms and changes. And, you know, there are some advocates who will say that we need to incarcerate all of the corrupt judges. And there are other advocates who talk about filing. I mean, there's the people versus the 50 United States, or the 50 states, and that's gaining some momentum in the federal court level. And you know, we got to look at bringing support and assistance to parents who are out there that don't know what to do, that are still in the throes of a crisis of losing their children and not knowing what to do, not knowing how to reach out or who to reach out to. And so, you know, we want to be able to bring some support to these families. I was talking about earlier the fundraiser that I have started to assist in not only the education and bringing the truth to more and more people through internet, social media, and other means, but also helping those advocates who are finding themselves becoming homeless due to the fact that they have been fighting this fight and are being persecuted for their work. So, you know, we want to be able to provide assistance on these levels to parents and advocates. What are your thoughts on that, Danny?
Yeah, I just want to. Well, of course, yeah, I'm just here to give some people some experience of the length of time I've been in this, watching what's happening, the pulse, the power of the internet. Yeah, I know about I think you mentioned politicians, or you're getting people that are family people, but we had Tim Donnelly here in California running for governor. He was saying that they're kidnapping kids for money, they're stealing kids. He wanted an audit. You know, he was the best candidate, and he had the lead. He actually had the Republican lead, and he loses. And I'm just saying, you can't trust the system. It's easy. These people are very powerful. They control everything. Nobody will go against these people. Every single politician knows they cannot do it. Nancy Schaefer's murder was a shot across the bow against everyone in that. Every senator knew what happened to her. Every senator knew what she was doing, and they know, don't go there. You don't go there. You can't have your job. She knew she was going to lose her job. So from those examples, you just can't. I don't have faith in that. But like I said, I still admire everyone's efforts that are shooting in the right direction. Keep firing. But my approach is public awareness, public perception, a national, creating our own publiclocator.com national registry where we're registering and monitoring every single person involved in this, from the perpetrators to foster parents, identifying their home, the risks that they are, the anything. I mean, this makes everybody second guess everything they're doing when they're being watched and when they're being tracked and they're being monitored in a central registry. And those kind of things can be created with just a little funding so, discourage people from getting involved in foster care, and just basically wanting criminal charges or no child stealing. That would stop the whole ball game. It would end everything as we know it.
Yes.
Did I answer your?
Yes, you did. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. And
Pleasure.
so I wanted to just ask you if you would be willing to, when I share this video on YouTube, put a shout out and share it. We want to be able to provide this service to as many parents and families as possible, supporting them in their efforts, whatever they may be, whether it be like you're talking about getting foster parents to stop being foster parents and bringing education and spreading the word. And then there are other advocates out there doing other work. I think that everybody has strength in whatever area they are focusing on, and I believe it's going to require a multi-layered approach in order for us to succeed in the totality that we seek here, which is to stop the persecution of families and destruction of families all across the nation and the world, and bring back the family values and the family rights that we have all been given as parents and as families that we have always all been living with. So thank you. Jennifer,
thank you for having me. Yes.
And Kelly, okay, Kelly was the one who had a question here. Kelly, hold on, let me unmute you. Let me unmute.
It's not. There you go.
All right, we got it.
Basically, you're talking about politics and politicians, but it's going to take all the people, not just people involved in CPS, but all the people in order to change this. If you don't change the people who aren't involved, if you don't get them to see how it interferes with family, I don't think we're going to get anywhere, because until they lose the attitude that something is wrong with you, if your children were taken by CPS, they're not going to change. I mean, within my family, I have really nobody. My brother was for a while, but then he lost interest, and there's really nobody that ever asks, how are you doing, or how is Michael, anything like that. So that I think it's a problem, they want to stick their heads in the sand. And if we don't raise awareness of what the damage is being done somehow, and maybe in a different way, I don't think we're going to get what we want. And the other thing is that as far as our goals, I think one of those should be working toward getting the ordinary citizen involved in our groups, and trying to encourage them to be part of the people fighting for us. And plus the fact that we need more education. I mean, right now, from my point of view, I can say, okay, there's several different types of things that I'm supposed to do that I'm having problems because I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Plus, it would be nice to have feedback from another person as to what you see as what was, for instance, what I see as a problem and what they see from the same time, from the same paper, and reading it, what they see that is showing up that I'm missing. And I guess I'm feeling like there needs somehow to be more one-on-one contact with people, to not necessarily to teach them how to do it, but to encourage them to do it and work with them as a kind of a support, but yet then it's kind of like somebody that you talk to and you get feedback from them what they think about it. You don't have to do that with everything, but there are some ideas that you might miss that might be helpful, and so it would save a lot of time if you'd had somebody there that, and even if you had groups that work together and discuss different problems and how you feel they should have done, that DFS might have done differently. Um, I guess that's what I'm looking for is more education on one basis or in small group basis. And
We have a
I mean,
couple of
that's one of
groups.
my ideas.
We do have a couple of groups that are
But
starting to form at this point in time. Ash is hosting a few of them, and I believe Fernando is hosting a few, and they're small groups where they work on just a few, one or two specific cases at a time. And we can see about expanding that as advocates come to be available to put together these focus groups. I agree with that completely. Danny here says, simple solutions, due process, child abuse, neglect, held in criminal courts only give people their constitutional rights to trial by jury. So we need to, continue demanding as parents that our rights be recognized, and we have the right to a trial by jury, and that we should exercise our rights at all times. One thing I was thinking about, and I posted a little thing on my wall about it last night when I was watching, or no, it was this morning, when I was watching a movie, the movie What a Girl Wants. And part of the movie, the father is looking at this photo album of his daughter as she was growing up, and he hasn't seen her. He didn't know she was alive. And, at 17, she comes to look for him and gives him this photo album. And it reminded me, and what I wrote was, I can't help but be depressed. I don't think I wrote exactly that, but I can't help but be sad that I won't have those photo memories of my children and our life together. And so what I'm thinking, like, to get the average person involved in this process is that maybe we could put together some kind of a video slideshow scene, and then of photos of our babies, and then at the point that until we had them in our custody, and then have a little photo saying when they no longer were with us, where they were stolen and taken into custody, and talk about that, because people all over the country have photo albums of their families that they continue to share with people. And we see movies all the time where photo albums come out of families, and you get to see family from birth on to adulthood. And a lot of parents here in this country and in other countries that's being stolen from us. Those memories, those photo albums are empty because our children aren't with us, and we can't take those photos of their growth and development and their excitement and their happiness and their birthdays and their, and it's like, that is almost bringing me to tears again. That's just what I was thinking. Anybody else like to chime in on this?
We've never had any of the holidays or his birthday, one birthday. But other than that, as far as any of the major holidays, never. He was born, because he was born in August, he was taken in October. And I mean, we've been near the holidays as far as having visits, but the whole thing was, the whole thing too is that it was constantly beaten into Kelly's head what a mess up of a mother she was. That she wasn't quite as good as the foster parents. That they had all the answers. That Michael loved them, and it was. I mean, that also destroys your. And you're talking about depression. It is a depression, but it's hard to define to other people because unless you've experienced it, you really don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for people to comprehend, indeed. And that's, something that if you haven't experienced it, or you haven't had somebody in your family that's experienced this betrayal by our government, but by the judicial system, it is a betrayal of our rights, our Constitution, our family, the whole 9 yards. But there are so many people out there who have no idea what's going on, and it is hard for them to comprehend this. It's much easier for them to think that these children needed a home, and that's why we have foster homes. That's why we have all of these services and celebrations of foster home and foster care and all this stuff that goes on in the movies, and it's just reinforcing a lie. And this lie has been reinforced for quite a long time. And so, yes, we are going to have to work really hard, I believe, in order to get these people to wake up to the reality of what is really going on with our children, with our families.
Yeah, the average American citizen, I don't think, that is not involved in it, seems to be that, okay, they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear those kinds of things. And so they stick their heads in the sand and pretend it doesn't happen. It's like you can talk and talk, you can ask and ask for to try to understand, but it's like, okay, I'm going to pretend this isn't happening because I don't want to deal with it. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's the idea I get.
Jennifer, I haven't heard from you in a little bit. Would you like to chime in on this?
Yeah, I was actually just trying to think of ways to work this into the case right now in federal court.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of taking notes.
So yes, there's a lot that you need to learn in order to successfully go into federal court and fight for your rights as a parent. And there are a few different ways in which you can go about fighting for your rights in federal court, but most specifically, the ones that cases have been won on are violations of your 4th and 14th Amendment rights. And there's a few lawyers out there who are supporting and helping parents talking about this. And one of them is Sean McMillan. He's here in California. And he has done a few video tutorials online. I have shared them on the Parent Advocate Network page on Facebook, and also the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families Facebook page. And there are other advocates out there that are discussing other methods, other ways that we can fight on a federal level. So this is definitely important. And then, to be able to get people in the community. For example, in my community, I'm an artist, so I go and I have my art displayed at some art fairs sometimes, and when I'm there I will have information about the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families, and then I will talk to people about my experience with CPS and what has happened to my family. And I've had so many people look at me and say, oh my God, I had no idea this was happening. you know, and that seems to work, you know, going out there, having something that people are going to come and engage in a conversation with you about, whether that be, you know, if you're doing like I did, the booths, or if you're going to the library and talking to people with a little flyer that you're passing out. Yeah, I believe that we do need some more one-on-one, you know, person-to-person communication going on. Perhaps some of our goals here would be creating a strategy that we can take to the public that's easy for anyone to follow. I know that some people are intimidated by going and talking to perfect strangers. I know I was for a long time. And then I started the Parent Advocate Network. And I started to talk to strangers all the time here on the Parent Advocate Network. And yet we all become good friends and work together and commiserate and sometimes support each other when it's needed. And that's what this is all about, expanding our range of knowledge and also expanding our range of relationships with other people, learning, listening, talking, and sharing. And so I think that's great, Kelly and Marge, for all of that suggestion and to bring more people into the know about what's really going on in our country. Thank you. And thank you, Jennifer, for continuing to fight for your family. You know, it's a very hard road, and I hope that you will be able to find the help you need. I know that there are some really good advocates out there, and you know, you can always ask here. If I don't have the answer, somebody here will, or I can refer you to the appropriate person and advocate to get you started on, you know, getting some assistance. Like Marge was saying, it is good to have a independent view on material that you put together, but be sure that you know that person before sharing that information with that person, because there are those out there who will take the information, whatever you've created, whether it be an affidavit or a motion or other like a request for a judicial review, all these things, or a recall. You got to make sure that the person that you're sharing the information with about your case, you trust, because there are trolls out there. There are people out there who will take your stuff and destroy your family and cause you to go to jail for no reason. And, you know, we already have parents who are going to jail because they followed somebody's advice that was not the right advice for them. And so we want everybody to be very careful about the advice that they get and who they get it from. We don't want anybody to go to jail. Well, I guess Danny has left tonight. I'm glad that he joined us tonight, and we will continue talking with Danny and support each other. He's just saying, you know, we got to keep the faith. That's right. Keep the faith, because we are strong when we work together. We are strong when we support each other, and we all need support and not judgment. Judgment has no place here. There's just too much at stake, and people, you know, have a right to believe what they want to, but they don't have a right to be smearing other people and attacking people on the internet. I mean, that's just not morally right, in my opinion. So,
I'll judge you, Lyra.
hey,
You can
it's
judge me.
Lyra. Stop that. It's Lyra. What you gonna judge me? What number did you give me? Hopefully it's a 10.
I think you're pretty cool. You know, I think you're weak in this. I think you're strong in this. You know, I'll judge Kelly, and Kelly will judge me. It's natural.
Right.
And I wanted to point that out because it's something that a lot of people, because of their level of education, they will have a huge tendency to misunderstand and take it as everything's got to be sugar and spice. You know what I mean? And that's extremely unhealthy.
No, well,
Sugar
yeah.
and spice and everything that.
Hey, it's wonderful. I've got a huge sugar tooth. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you have too much sugar, it's going to hurt you.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
I just got my teeth fixed.
You got to eat your veggies too.
You have diabetes too.
Right? And rotten teeth. I just got my teeth fixed. I can't eat as much sugar.
Yeah.
Right. Not me either.
So like with the judgment stuff, it falls on both sides of the coin. Just like our social interaction, where like the other meeting, Kelly and I were talking, and using our conversation as an example, I was showing her some healthy support, and at the same time, with experienced judgment, I was asserting myself where I would gauge to be a little bit intimidating by some. You have to have that proper balance, that healthy balance, in order to have a stability, a healthy stability. And the more you actually embrace the assertive and aggressive stuff, it's like Cash Jackson likes to say, for example, embrace the suck. It's an old Navy term. Okay. The more you embrace it, the more you're going to become a champion. The little stuff that bothered you will no longer bother you so much because you're used to the challenge. You've been exercised. And the stronger you are, the less affirmations you need from other people because you're able to internalize those affirmations. You don't need the sugar and spice because you are the sugar and spice.
Well, that
and
is.
You can handle yourself in the dangerous areas too. When
Yeah.
you're attacked, instead of running, you're fully capable of handling your ground.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nate. And I guess I
have a
should.
question for Jennifer.
Yeah.
Did I whip you around a little enough?
What'd I do? I'm sorry.
Did
No,
I smack you around enough?
No. I was going to say, I just believe that as far as the judgments go, I mean, everybody's going to judge. It's just, it's not okay to be like in attack mode and judge people.
Vindictive.
And then vindictive. Thank you. That's the word. See, I knew there was something.
I know exactly who you're talking about. But the name, but that individual's name doesn't mean anything because the actions are what are harmful, and they're just going to be a dime a dozen. There's a whole bunch of other people out there, so their name doesn't matter other than, like, if you need to bring that person's actions to proper authorities.
Right. Okay.
Like for prosecution, right?
Yes.
So my question for Jennifer was, can you give me a general perspective? I don't need any details of like where you are in your case, your level of understanding, the different dynamics in what's going on, what puts you into federal court, different stages, things like that. I don't know where you're at, so I don't know how I could be able to help you until I have a little bit of that feedback.
Do you want the full, complete, unfiltered truth on where I think I am?
Yes.
Yes, please.
I think my CPS case is completely 150% associated with the sealed indictments. I think this entire thing is I don't want to say planned, but I think it's being watched to some degree or another. And I am Honestly, at this point, what has me at my breaking point is not necessarily that Iris has been taken, but knowing the likelihood of this being involved in the sealed indictments and knowing the degree of play that's going on in the background and having to be kept here sitting, keeping quiet and having to behave myself, knowing that everybody knows that I know what is going on and it's driving me up a wall. In a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you for your ability to be so effectively concise.
Yes.
All right. How comfortable are you with what you've learned about the different dynamics?
Oh, sorry, Diamond. Once again, to be perfectly honest, not in any shape or form whatsoever.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Hold on, let me let the dog out. Oh, never mind. I am not comfortable with this in any shape or form whatsoever. To be perfectly honest.
What's your level of comfort with your level of education of what's going on? What have you found in the real world dynamics? You know, with facts, excuse me, facts and evidence of the types of courts, the types of people involved, the dangers involved. So you have a good footing of what are your options and what are your best supported options to move forward.
I think I do. I would like some degree of confirmation and understanding because with everything going on, I am second guessing everything that I think I know. If I get a degree of confirmation, that would be wonderful.
Okay, we're all going to go through that.
Yes.
You get stuck in the deep end. Why would it not happen, right?
Right. So, like, at this point, I'm just kind of sitting here, when is the confirmation going to happen? Because I'm not keeping myself together well anymore.
Focus on yourself first. That's what I will always advocate for everybody, unless there's some sort of emergency situation under a very short timeline. Screw everything. Screw your case. Screw everybody. Focus on you and your health, because you will guarantee you will screw yourself over and any potential that you have in the future if you do not take care of yourself first.
People are getting
That's your
cancer
mental,
and
emotional.
they're getting cancer and all kinds of illnesses because of this, because of the loss of your child, and not being able to focus on our own health and well-being. It causes so many illnesses, both physical and mental, and it is extremely important that we stay healthy because we want to be here for our children for many, many years to come. And you got to be healthy, got to be taking care of yourself. Absolutely. Thank you, Nate. What are some skills, what are some exercises that you do to help calm yourself down, find that center, Jennifer?
Breathing, that's pretty much it at this point. I breathe and I try to find some sort of sort of other thought path I could possibly think of to get myself out of that mindset. That's really all I can do is try and find something to distract myself or breathe through it or something.
So what I've found in my process, because I was depressed and didn't do anything for several years because I was just so frozen in depression. And then I started working on my art and gardening outside and just trying to be happy in the moment, whether or not my children are with me. And it's taken a long time for me to get to where I am now in being strong and ready to go the next step in my case against the corrupt judges in the CPS in my case. Do you have a garden nearby or anywhere that you like to go and hang out with friends?
My house cards and everything. So, you know, I had it all set up, you know, not all set up, but kind of ready to start gardening and everything this year. And then they took Iris, and I didn't exactly have the right type of energy that I wanted to put into the plant. All that kind of stuff. I tend to, I guess, have a lot of effective energies, and I don't want to put certain things into certain.
So at this point, you are still in the county courts, or are you, I mean, where on the path of reunification are you at this time?
Honestly, at this point, I really don't know. From what I understand, all they want at this point is to know that I'm seeing a mental health professional, which I've been doing since May, and who at this point, to my understanding, seems to feel that the vast majority of the issues that I'm incurring right now are due to CPS. She seems to believe that I had my PTSD and overall myself well managed until CPS got involved, and then, you know, everything just spirals out of control. And, you know, I just at this point want to talk to my therapist, but with everything that's been going on and all the games and everything that's been getting played, I'm freaking out at the thought of, you know, maybe them using things against me, and I'm trying so hard to trust, and, you know, I thought I had started healing. I thought I had, you know, started doing better, and then this whole thing happened, and I know I'm jumping at shadows, but I can't, and it's at a complete loss of control. So where I am right now is in the reunification phase, but with all these games being played at this point, I'm not really sure what's going on. My federal case, I'm still in circuit court. My federal case has an order. Ultimately, if the DOJ doesn't respond by December 21st, she will sign a court order halting all removals, halting all forced vaccinations, a bunch of other stuff as well. Freezing the assets of DSS in Baltimore County. I don't know how far she tends to extend that, but you know, stuff like that. So that's and if the DOJ doesn't respond by the 21st, then, you know, that's going to take effect. Arrests as well of social workers and the child abuse specialist who ordered Iris's removal. So, yeah.
What state is that, Jennifer?
Maryland.
Okay. So you have Baltimore PD up there, right?
Yes.
Or Boston? But it's Maryland?
Yes.
Okay. Get a hold of my buddy, Chris Thorns. You can look him up on YouTube for the Chris Thorns Show.
How's it spelled?
ChrisThorns.
Oh, did I spell that wrong? So there's an S at the end.
It doesn't matter. He's a bald dude. He directs his show towards the other side of the tracks, the darker population that is unaware of truth and red pilling and family stuff. He's a really good guy. He's awesome. He's open-minded. He's inquisitive. He asks people questions. I would say go check him out before you even make an attempt to talk to him. That way you have a heads up and you're going to be a little bit more comfortable. But he does have Baltimore PD call into his show as a guest frequently.
Okay.
And he's based out of Tennessee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And He's also had some friends of ours come on, like Dean Tong and uh, Jesse Weiner over in Florida. I love that woman. She is freaking savage. She knows her stuff.
Based out in Tennessee.
She will be a good one to hit up. And he's also had Judge Joe Brown on a couple times as a guest.
Oh, wow.
And he's a small YouTuber.
So this is Crystal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But that would give you a pathway in a few different directions with law enforcement, both applying the fourth branch, which is media, in addition to contact with the currently recognized authorities in various departments, like law enforcement, like psychological and emotional counseling, which both Dean Tong does, as well as Jesse. She works with a lot of people down in Florida for drug and alcohol treatment as well.
Oh, wow.
And you're not that far from my buddy Peter McNeil, which is over in New York, right over in the Brownstone area. Yeah, it sounds like you have a pretty interesting case.
Yeah.
I would suggest you focus on self-introspection, just like I tell everybody else. It's the most powerful thing I've ever witnessed or gone through myself.
But don't
And if you don't know what
overanalyze.
it is, look it up. Yeah, you got to be able to disconnect and find your happy place. Go out and do a camping trip for a weekend, or see a movie, or take yourself out to dinner or something like that.
Go hang out with friends.
Don't bury yourself in a lot of this. And what you do bury yourself in, make it constructive. I would not
Absolutely.
suggest talking to everybody about your story. I would not suggest spending the majority of your time in that area talking about your story. I would suggest use it as like icing on the cake so someone has a general consensus at an appropriately deemed time that you decide when you want to disclose that, when you're comfortable. And the majority of your time where you're focused on your case type stuff, it be things that are productive, where you're working on some sort of project with some sort of a team in some area, whether it helps your specific case or someone else's. And if you look at it with a compartmentalized and unbiased perspective, where it's like, screw your case, you'll actually be the exact opposite. Those are the results you're going to find, because you're going to be more on a united effort. You're going to be more about fixing the goal than what's immediately going on with you right now. Because I'm sorry to tell you, there is zero guarantee that you will be protected in any fashion, or your children will be protected in any fashion if you are 100% successful in your case.
Yeah.
Because of recourse. So by focusing on the long goal, you can remedy both areas. So you won't have to be looking over your shoulder in the future. The only reason why you would ever need to do so would be if you actually committed a crime, which you should be looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kelly, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Okay. This is for actually this is to well actually I have a suggestion for Jennifer. Jennifer, maybe you can maybe go out, maybe go out and volunteer some places at like the there's like the food pantries, or sometimes like that. There's there's volunteers might need help with the what else would be
Hospitals.
oh yeah, like at the hospitals. You can like volunteer there. So that might help you too. And you might be able to volunteer, like maybe do like some crafting, or maybe if you like music, you might listen to music, or get involved with music. Like me, I love music and all that, and because that's what my passion is, and I'm trying to become a singer and all that too. So I've been like working on some music myself too. So. And so that's what I've been doing too, with some of my time too.
Music is
And
very
sometimes I
healing.
do get out and
Music is
what?
very healing.
I've been
Soothes the soul.
right. It does. It really does. I volunteered at the genealogy library a long time ago. I did a lot of things before Michael was born. I did. I went to like at the different craft shows. I went to like at the different antique shops. We belonged to like an effect group, which is encouraging families of exceptional children together, which they had like a lot of their kids had
Uh-oh. Looks like you froze
had
there, Kelly.
disabilities, and we went to Jefferson City, and we spoke out down there. So yeah, I've been doing a lot a lot of that stuff too.
Yes.
Oh shoot, your picture's frozen too, Lyra.
I'm sorry?
Lyra.
Lyra. It's Lyra. You got it.
Okay. But anyway, I just I said Lyra.
Yes.
Lyra. I was just telling Jennifer that those are some things that I was doing, so, or that I did too. So, doing and did.
And that's what we talk about a lot is, finding ways to get out of the depression, because it is easy to get sucked into that depression. And I live with people who are suffering with depression now, and I've suffered with depression for a long time myself, and it's really easy to get stuck and not want to get out of that depression. And so yeah, you're right, Kelly, those are some really good things.
Yeah. And maybe like reading the Bible. I don't know if you're I don't know if you're
religious.
I don't know what your religion is. Maybe you can read them help. Yeah, maybe reading the Bible might help you too. So.
And I noticed she mentioned the therapist. I know that helps me. Is right now the therapist I was going to, I'm not going to any longer, and he made a big impression on me, so that I find that replaying tapes of what he said to me under certain situations helps me to get up and get moving. Otherwise, I've had severe depression all my life off and on, and so I understand it. And it's a fight to keep yourself above water, but the biggest thing that you can do is to find someone to spend your love on and to do things for. It may be a group, it may be other people, it may be children, but everybody needs somebody else, and sometimes you need to try to be that somebody else for those who are still having problems with the similar to ours are different, but we've been experiencing it, and we know what we're doing.
So I thank you all for joining tonight, and you know we want to help support and provide assistance and inspiration to each other, because this is how we can continue thriving despite all of the attacks that we have been under by government officials and CPS workers and contracted agents that aren't even a part of the system. They're just being paid by the system. And so, you know, we, want to help you to be happier and better and for yourself, Jennifer. And I hope that this has helped you tonight. And I invite you to join us. We're going to start having this parent advocate meeting every Saturday now from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and all are welcome. We're here to help. And you know, Nathan, he's got some great contacts and information. I have some contacts and information, and there are other advocates who join us regularly that have a lot of information and will be able to assist you one way or another, because there are, you know, if the advocates aren't here on the night that we have this meeting, they are out there on the social network media and on other platforms, and we can help with setting up and assisting people to find advocates in your area. This is one of our big goals here. And if you go to our page, the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families page on Facebook, we have a photo album specifically set up, and it's state by state, and parents and advocates are invited to add their name to the state that they're in, to provide a phone tree basically of local advocates and parents who are in the system right now and who are helping parents and families to reunify and to fight against this tyranny. So if you wish to, check it out, join, add your name, and we're going to just keep on sharing as much information as we can, as any way we can. That's what I think. Anyway, thank you for joining. Is there anything else anybody would like to say before we go?
Nice meeting everybody. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome.
I got one.
I can't tell. Hear me?
I can hear you, Jen.
Okay. No, I just wanted to thank you guys for inviting me, and yeah, I'm still listening. So thank you. I guess I don't really know what else to say.
Hey, Jennifer, you can PM me if you need to in the future. I'm happy to help when I'm able to.
Thanks. I appreciate
it. Anybody that's looking for some extra work might consider talking to Lyra.
Lyra.
I know she has a pop.
It's Lyra. Lyra.
Lyra.
Like lyrical.
Lyra. Oh, all right, Lyra.
The music.
Spin on the lyre.
Yes. No, it's actually a constellation in the sky, and it has the 5th brightest star on it.
Lyra.
Watch Contact.
Exactly.
To learn more.
Yeah, I know. I know. Anyway, for people that actually are sincere about helping the community, their personal community, and possibly a thank you out of it, like to help with some bills, talk to Lyra.
Lyra. And Nathan, can I contact you too sometimes, just to talk? And Lyra, Lyra. Yeah, I said, can I talk? Can I contact you sometime on Messenger? No,
Oh, you mean more than a wave?
no,
Yeah.
More than a wave, yes, right?
you're in trouble.
Oh, you got me in private messages.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
And
Hi,
G,
I see you too. Hi.
You're a nuisance. You are a nuisance.
Nope. Nope. I'm brutal.
you're brutal.
Okay.
I'll make you strong.
No, I said, can I contact you by messenger, please?
Yeah.
If I need to talk and all that. Okay. That's why I was asking.
I'm always really, really busy, but I do make time when I'm able
Okay.
to. And something I've always working on is disconnecting for myself. So I keep my own sanity and I stay strong so I can set a positive example for others, stable and strong.
Amen. Stable and strong. That is the motto
I won't be
here.
that good of use to you.
Right. And we are here to support all of
Yep.
everyone
Okay.
in becoming stronger and more resilient to those who would rather judge you than learn to know you and get to know you better. And I want to thank you all for joining tonight, and we'll keep coming back.
I'll do both.
You have a good.
Wait, she has a question.
Okay,
Oh,
what
yeah.
I wanted to
Okay.
say is there some way that
Wait, she has a question.
I just wanted to say one thing is there a way that we can get more information out on the different laws that are in effect now? Because I've been looking at them, it's kind of confusing on what is actually going on and how it affects us. Because some people are saying they're useless and some people don't think so. So I just want to know, I would like to see somehow a discussion brought up on the laws and what's to our advantage and what isn't and what we can do about it.
I do believe that Kirk's Law
There,
Corner is where
I
you
haven't
would
seen
go.
much that would be most appropriate for a novel.
No, but
Yeah, but it's not good for a novice.
Mm-hmm.
For someone
True.
that hasn't already dove in head first into understanding the law. Amber and Steve. Go to Chris's Amber and Steve group. It's a public group. He posts videos that are more simplified for his kids, documenting his journey through the processes. Chris, excuse me. Chris also goes on Kirk's Law Corner as one of the co-hosts. The direction tangent, and it can go way over a lot of people's heads. So unless if you're already well versed, you're gonna get confused. So just know that.
what I'm really trying to find out is what is the thinking on the present laws that have just been put in effect? What if people that have studied the law? I mean, I understand law to a certain point, but I'm getting mixed messages on what they think of the new laws and how it's affected, and I'd like to know the reasons why they don't think it's going to be good, and again, to give the reasons why people think that it will be good, and so you can focus on improving or trying to get things changed if they need to be changed. But and I don't even think a lot of people I don't think are aware of the laws, and I think that they need to be brought up and put in people's where people can see them and notice them.
Sounds like an agenda
Hey, Laura,
item
what's it
for
called?
the Family Rights Party, actually, to investigate. And I will put that forth in the
What
next
is that
Family Rights
called?
Party meeting. I'm sorry, Nathan, what?
ILLF, I think, for the Illinois group, Chad Loudermilk. He's got the Illinois group, and they do a lot of legislative type stuff, and they do a lot of Q&A in the group to actually, they directly answer a lot of Kelly's family members' questions. Why do they do this and why do they do that? They cover a few different perspectives. That's a puzzle piece that's already been in the works and done pretty well. I'm very critical, and I'm recommending it.
So ILL, right?
So it's a good start. ILL, something to that degree. Just look up Chad Loudermilk.
Yeah, how do you spell the last name?
Yeah.
How do you spell the last name?
Louder, and then add milk.
Okay.
Louder and
Louder.
Get louder.
It's L-O-U.
L-O-U-D-E.
Yeah, Lyra typed it in.
Lyra typed it in.
Yeah.
Louder.
Lyra.
Oh, louder milk. Okay. Loudermilk.
1,000 lashings with a wet noodle to you, Nate.
Yes, man.
Now don't get into a fight over
No, we'll have spaghetti by the end of it.
Oh no, who you are for these things.
He is honored tonight.
Hey, I've got a migraine, but I'm feeling good.
Thank you, Nate, for joining us despite your migraine. I'm really grateful for your input and your presence here. Thank you so much. And I hope that you get some relief for your migraine. I don't know if you can see the video here, but I can show you a few techniques because I suffer from migraines all the time. I don't know if you know about the one between the thumb and the forefinger. There's a pressure point that you can press with your finger. So that's one, and you can do it with on both hands. That relieves migraines. And another one is on your ears. There are 4 points on your ears that you squeeze. And you squeeze each one for 10 seconds. So there's the top of your ear. There's one like this inner part of your upper ear. There's a pressure point to squeeze. Right. And then there's one that's right at just, I don't know, midway between the top and bottom of your ear. That's another pressure point, and you do them in succession. And then the final pressure point is at the bottom of your earlobe and in, where the ear cavity begins, I guess you would call that. And you just squeeze each of those pressure points for about 10 seconds, and that should relieve migraines. The other thing that I have learned is cold washcloth, cold water washcloth on the head, over the forehead, and close your eyes and pray for the best. So yeah, I hope I'm
aware of a number of techniques like yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope to see you all next week. Jennifer, take care of yourself, okay? You are the most important person to take care of right now.
All right, thanks. I'll try.
Just remember, we're all here for you. Just feel free to message any one of us if you need some extra support. We will give it, absolutely, every time.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'll definitely remember that.
You have a good night, all of you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
Bye. 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 Yeah, Lyra.
Now, we're not going to have that.